The remaining 6 teams fly to Dubai in the latest episode of The Amazing Race, and we will be talking about all things gnomes, sharks, and camels on today's After Show. Stay with us.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome back to the After Show. I'm your host, James Wallington, and with me is...
Hey guys, I'm Jessica Carroll, and
I'm Marie.
And before we actually recap the episode, we have a huge announcement to make. 2, actually.
We do.
Just in the Amazing Race family, keeping with the After Show theme. There have been 2 babies born in the last 2 weeks to 2 Amazing Race teams. Do you guys know who they are?
Ave.
duh.
We would like to extend a huge congratulations to Jason and Amy for giving birth to their baby girl last week. I believe her name was Maya, right?
Marie, middle name Marie. After me.
How
They named
cute
it after
is
Marie.
that? So
So
congratulations to Jason and Amy for their baby girl. And then also Brendan and Rachel, the infamous Brenchel from The Amazing Race, as well as Big Brother, also gave birth to their baby girl 2 weeks ago. And her name was Adora Borealis.
And it's both of their first child, right?
Yeah.
So
Race
congratulations to Race Babies.
Race babies.
Now let's dive right into this action-packed Wedgie and a half episode, right? And that actually was, the episode quote was from Dana. Just so we can clear the air on that. Because I know last week we were like, who said the most?
Right.
That was Dana for
That
a
was
change.
Dana.
So this was the beginning of the episode, was the last time that we will see Bloaty the entire season. I loved how the producers just had to get in the last 5 seconds of a little embrace between Blair and Brody.
They didn't seem that sad about it.
No.
No.
Do you
Not
guys
at all.
think that they're together now? Or?
No.
I mean, however, the very beginning, what does he say? That he wants to win another trip so he can take her.
That's true.
Yeah, I
That
think he
kind
was
of
just.
set the tone for
Right.
I think he was just playing it up.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's a little editing there, so we already knew what happened in 30 seconds.
But right off the bat, this was an equalizer leg for sure. All the teams were on the same flight. They flew to Dubai. Once there, they had to choose a marked car and drive themselves to a Bedouin camp. I tried to practice that word, you guys, before the show. I think
Don't
it was
admit that.
Bedouin.
Yeah, just
Went
go
for
with
it.
Outside
Just
of
go
the
with
city.
it.
There, they would receive a traditional nose-to-nose greeting. Males only, by the way. I don't know if anyone else saw that.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that.
And the detour clue, as well as a Travelocity roaming gnome. He's making his first appearance this season to be carried with them throughout this entire leg. Right off the bat, Brody and Kurt, again, keeping their head in the game. We're talking about how there's 6 teams left. Every leg here on out is going to be difficult just because they're that close to the end. And that every team that's left is incredibly smart and competitive.
Yeah.
So the stakes are much higher now.
You got to get your head in your game. But actually, now that you've said that it was only men, because I've been to Dubai and I was like, you never do that greeting anywhere. But it wasn't for women.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, that was just an observation that I made, and I was like, I don't see any women going up to these men being like,
You know what? And I didn't really pay attention to what they were wearing either, because I remember when we were in the UAE, they told us that we had to be like fully covered.
Yeah.
So it
That's
was like
right.
115 degrees, and I'm wearing long sleeves and dyeing, and like guys could wear basically whatever they wanted. And I know that Dana was complaining how hot she was. I wonder if it was because like they had to be fully covered up.
But did you have to wear those when you went to the temple, or was it the entire
It was the
leg?
whole leg. But they were a little bit, I feel like they did it just to be dramatic because, you know, some of the teams like had short sleeves on and like maybe a tank top at some point, and no one really said anything when we were outside of it. And we were like, well, why did you tell us in the beginning that like we needed like up to our wrists covered? So I think that was more just to make us squirm.
Yeah, I think
than-
that's more just to add to the
Right.
drama. Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Again, equalizer right off the bat. Once they land, it seems like Sherry had a little bit of a difficulty getting to this camp. She's the only one that took the wrong exit, which put them way off course, while the other teams had that extra advantage of getting to the detour before Sherry and Cole.
And I forget who it was, but someone mentioned, you know, Sherry, they're from a small town. Like, they probably have one freeway. Whereas, you know, we're from LA, and I know some people are from LA and bigger cities. They know how to drive highways with a bunch of different exits and maneuver all that stuff. So they kind of had a disadvantage.
And I think Tyler and Corey were the ones that said they only have probably like one highway in their town.
Yeah.
And even, the rest of them were kind of like right one behind the other. So you also get lucky that way. Like if one person knows where they're going and you kind of stay with the pack, then you're okay. But they kind of got like the last start and they couldn't even follow along.
Right, which sucks.
Poor Sherry and Cole.
But driving there's the worst. Like I liked that they actually had to drive on their own here a lot throughout the leg, because I think that like adds to it. And we see 30 seconds here and a couple minutes here. Like, trust me, they were driving each part of this leg for hours. Like, they were lost. It took an hour everywhere they went. There's probably so much that we didn't see. And, like, that gets to you. I mean, even at the end, like, the timing, it was dark out. This wasn't a close leg.
And it also makes you realize who has good communication skills with the other person.
Absolutely.
Because you really have to listen. And plus, the whole time I was like, wow, I am so thankful for GPS. I mean, like little things like that you take for granted nowadays. Gosh, I can't even remember last time I actually held up a map and was like trying to figure out directions.
Well, Sherry and Cole weren't the only team with navigation issues, which we'll get to later in our recap. Matt and Dana also had a little bit of a hot mess moment. Once teams got to the camp, they had to choose between the detour of Races versus Oasis. In Races, teams traveled to Dubai Camel Racetrack, where they had to compete against racing camels who can get up to a speed of 40 miles per hour, which was insane to me. That was like, whoa, crazy. I would never go up against a camel. With automated jockeys in a 1.2 mile race on bicycles. If they crossed the finish line before the camels, they received their next clue. If they failed to win the first race, they would then receive a head start on the next one. In Oasis, teams had to lead 4 camels across a marked path through the desert to another camp, where they were then offered traditional regag bread and camel milk before receiving their next clue. Ladies, which detour would you have chose?
Well, first of all, when they mentioned food, I was like, Marie's gonna go for the food. But to be honest, right off the bat, I would have wanted to pick the camel races just because it sounded so interesting. But then when I found out you had to get on an actual bicycle, I would have ran. I hate biking. I like spin, like Soul Cycle. I'm all about that. Biking in real life, no way, Jose. So I would have done the Oasis. It was only a mile, whatever. I would have sucked it up and done it.
I think I would have done the Races. Like, I'm torn here though, because I hate the idea of this. Like, dog racing, horse racing, camel racing, no, it's mean. I don't like it. So I was like already like, oh, these poor animals. Like, I was so pissed off. But again, it's like a physical thing that you have to do once. And I'm just thinking back to like the shape that Tim and I were in during our season. Like, if anybody's going to beat those camels on the first try, it would have been us. We would have done it quick and it would have been over with.
Right.
So I definitely would have went for that. And even if like you get there and you think you can't do it, stop pedaling in the first 10 seconds, take the break, don't kill your legs, and just do it on the second try, because that head start that you got on the second try, nobody missed it.
Yeah.
So like, why kill yourself the whole time if you can just wait 5 minutes and do it again?
Right.
That's a really good point.
And then the other side of it, like, yeah, it's easier. You're just kind of walking along, but like, who knows if your camel's just gonna like lay down and roll over and not be cooperative. And like, if they made you drink the milk, I would have been like, ew. So
me, lactose intolerant, that would have gone really bad.
Yeah. So I would have went with the race side, as much as I hate any racing animals.
Yeah.
I definitely would have done Oasis for sure. I mean, the idea of even racing on a bicycle against a camel and this heat, no. I would rather take my chances of walking and guiding a camel through the desert to another camp.
Right.
Just because I feel like I would be a little bit more in control, whereas a camel, like, you can't control their speed, so racing against them would be like hit or miss.
Yeah.
So I probably would have done Oasis.
Can you just look at the comments in the live chat,
I definitely did.
Like, what is going on today?
Oh my god.
So, starting this off for Races, Tyler and Corey chose Races, Bernie and Ashley, Zach and Rachel, and Brody and Kurt, and Sherry and Cole. But 2 teams decided after the first time racing against these camels that they were just not going to kill themselves over this, and they switched detours. And those 2 teams were Bernie and Ashley and Zach and Rachel. So let's focus on Tyler and Corey, Brody and Kurt, and Sherry and Cole. How do you guys think they did in this detour?
Well, first of all, Brody and Kurt, I thought they would have this would have been easy for them, to be honest. And the fact that when they crossed the finish line, they were like on the floor, oh my god, their legs, this and that, I was like, okay.
I mean, it's hard because it is an all-out sprint, and you go from, they just sat on a plane for God knows how many hours.
Right.
You get out, you're in a car, and then all of a sudden it's like sprint. And that's probably hard, but on the flip side of it, it was only 1.2 miles on a bike. I did the conversion because I needed to be able to talk about this.
That seems like so far to me.
It's
Like
not
sprinting.
though. Like
biking?
think about it. Think of a track, okay? Like an actual track and field, 4 laps.
That's it.
On a bike. It's like a joke. But when you're thrown into this and you haven't been active at all, and then you get on a bike and it's like go, 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 like you can't really keep that sprint up without, I'm sure they were tired, but like, yeah, your legs are just going to basically kind of stop on you towards the end.
Well, that's what I thought was interesting is last week when we were making our predictions about this episode, the promo showed Brody and Kurt literally like,
on the
I
ground.
thought they had hurt maybe an Achilles tendon, like, you know, the Achilles heel or something. And they did it. And I
No,
was just
you
like,
just cramp up
They
at
made
the
it
end.
seem so dramatic. And then I was like, really?
But you know what I did love is, I'm not sure who was in the back. I think it was actually Brody. It was Brody in the back. He was so encouraging. He was like, come on, like, well, you can do it, go. They were so encouraging. Everyone who did the races was beyond encouraging for the other team member.
Yeah.
And I think, like, if I had my partner yelling, you know, go, 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 I would have pushed no matter what to make it.
But the other thing is, if you're the one who's in front and you're like so far ahead, like slow down. Like you're only gonna win if the person in the back wins. So like the teams that went out first, the one teammate that was like way ahead, like your partner
energy.
also has to cross at the same time as you. So like you showing off your bike skills don't really help anyone here.
No.
If your partner doesn't make it, now your legs are shot for the next round. So there needed to be like a little bit more strategy in this one. I think if you thought about it, you probably could have like handled it a lot better than that first go around.
Right.
But it wasn't that difficult. I mean,
How long do you think it took them? Like, how long would the camels get from...
2 minutes. Well, think about it. You
if I
run
can
a
run
mile in
like
like
8
7,
minutes,
8 minutes. Yeah, so you're gonna bike it in like more, like half that at least.
Probably.
I guess, yeah.
So even if like
If you
you
think
mess
about,
up
like,
and you
okay,
have to
2 minutes.
wait, this is like a 10-minute ordeal. The whole thing.
I feel like it would feel forever though. And that
course,
heat with
I'm
the desert
sure.
around you, it just really sets the tone. I would,
But that definitely, even if you had to do that and then you had to wait and then you had to do it again, that's a lot less time than walking over a mile in the middle of the desert.
True.
So
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, if Sherry can do it, anyone can do it.
Right.
Sherry is such a badass.
She is.
She literally does not say no. She'll just do it.
Yeah.
That's why I really love Sherry and Cole, and just like Sherry in general. She's a rock star.
Yeah.
She is a rock star. She didn't even like question herself. She was like, I got this. I'm gonna do it. Oh my
And like good for the teams that stuck around too and didn't switch and did it the second time, because clearly if it was impossible the first time, it was set up so that no matter what, you were able to get it the second
Absolutely.
time. So think of how much time wasted by going to the other one that's a longer side of it to even begin with.
And also, if you did it the second time, you would have pushed yourself, because the last thing you want to do is a third time.
Right.
Right.
And get shown up by a camel again.
I wonder if it was the same camels. This was my question. So did you race these 2 camels and then you ride your bike back and you wait a couple minutes and they bring the camels back and you race the same camels again? Because now the camels are tired.
More tired.
Right.
Well, then if you think about it too, then if you're like the 4th team to the detour.
Right, exactly. The camels
they're
are
not
like
as
dead.
active.
I'm sure there was maybe like 2 or 3 sets of
Backup camels.
But like still, you know, they all went more than once.
That's actually a really good point. That would have made a huge difference.
Right. Get there a little late, take the tired camels, strategy and everything.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
I loved how the one camels were like racing super fast, and then the other camels that were just walking were like just taking their sweet time, you know?
Sweet old time. But I loved how they edited the Brody and Kurt thing. It just, to me, it was really epic because it was just like
They
fast,
just,
fast. And you like, I really had no idea when they did that screenshot. I was like, holy crap, like a split of a second.
I thought only one of them made it, and then I was like, oh, okay.
That was cool.
It was really awesome. But on the flip side, so again, Bernie and Ashley and Zach and Rachel end up switching detours. And this is actually where we kind of see a little bit of an attitude with Zach, which I was kind of caught off by. Just because Rachel, before they even got to the detour, verbalized to him, hey, I don't feel comfortable racing on a bike. I don't like to go fast on bikes. We should probably do the other detour. Zach disregarded that.
Right.
They did the detour after one attempt. he's like, we got to do it again. She's like, no, I can't do this. And he's like, what do you mean you can't do this? And
he was like,
so
well, why
caught off
didn't
by
you say that? And she's like, I did.
Yeah. I was like, oh gosh, communication, people, communication.
However, I think he kind of probably thought that like she'll try it once, she'll see it's not that bad, and she'll be able to do it, which she probably could have. And like if he weighed the options, he knew that that was the quicker side to do. But you know, she just wasn't having it.
I wonder if she had like a traumatic bike accident when she was a kid, because that's the only thing that would make sense of why you don't feel comfortable going fast on a bike.
Right.
But they switched detours, and then poor Ashley just was so wiped out after her first attempt. And Bernie was just really supportive and like, yeah, let's switch.
And she got back in the car, and I thought she was gonna puke.
She was like gonna throw up. Yeah.
Yikes. I mean,
poor thing.
Yeah, I was like covering my eyes, like don't barf in the car.
I know. I was like, I do not want to see that. No.
Like one
Projectile.
eye open. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I was like, would they show that? Would they not show that? Like,
On the other teams that did Oasis another team that did Oasis was Matt and Dana, and this is kind of when it starts off the meltdown of Dana, and she's pretty much yelling at him, saying, "Stop acting like you're not struggling. It's annoying, men. Ugh." And I'm just, God, to be stuck with her in the desert would probably drive me nuts.
Oh my gosh. She was literally squawking the entire time. I know in the last after show we mentioned like, okay, we've seen proposals, we've seen this and that on the after show or on Amazing Race. We have not seen a breakup, and I would not be surprised if we see one of these two.
I feel like that was as close as it's gonna get.
Yeah.
But like in my head, I was like, oh my God, we were literally talking about this last week, and they were fighting. Like she was pissed.
The funny thing is, I thought there was like a slight breakup at the end when she's like, "We're a team," and she goes, "Not as of now, and as far as I'm concerned, we're not." I was just like, "Oh, did they just break up?"
Yeah, I don't know. See, she like it was a little surprising to me because like I'm like so on her team, and I understand her like yelling at him because from what we've seen so far, she's always right. So I don't have an issue with like you bossing your partner around and yelling if you know that you're right. But like she was kind of wrong here, and I was also kind of surprised to see her being tired and complaining and like, you know, he's fine, he's wearing a flannel and they're just walking, and she's like, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna pass out. Like something else was going on there because she's in great shape. Like there's no reason that she would be exhausted walking those camels. And then I was like, why is she complaining so much? Like, you know, don't do this, I liked you. Like, but there's like a difference. You know, someone asked in the live chat like to compare their relationship with mine and Tim's, and
I
like,
saw that. I was gonna ask you
it's
that.
a little bit different. I mean, it's kind of, it's similar, but like again, they have a real relationship. Like
that was
she can't talk to him like that and expect that he's gonna be like fine when the leg is over, because like they have to have more. Like Tim and I didn't really respect each other, but we went into it not respecting each other.
Sure.
We went into it not having a relationship. We don't care. We say whatever we want to each other. You let it roll off your back and you keep moving. Mm-hmm. For them, they have a real relationship that's at stake. So that was like a little more dysfunctional for me to watch, and like it was kind of annoying. So I'm sure people watched me and were so annoyed and just wanted me off their TV screen. But it's a different relationship, and that's why for them I think it's gonna hurt them, whereas us it didn't really matter.
Right.
I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm so glad Soul Brother 69 asked that in the chat, because when I was actually watching the series of events with Matt and Dana, I kept thinking, okay, because I remember at one point you made a comment about Dana and you being similar and that you're outspoken. But I'm thinking, for you and your relationship with Tim, your exes, you went into it, there's a reason why the relationship didn't work.
Right.
But when you go into it with someone that you're in a relationship with, like Matt and Dana, I wouldn't like tolerate that for my boyfriend to speak to me like that. Like that just wouldn't be okay with me.
Right. That's what I keep saying is like, why does Matt put up with this?
Right.
I mean, he does say at the end.
The thing is, they're supposed to be like supporting each other because they're in this relationship. Like again, with us, we literally went there and we're like, okay, we're just going to stand next to each other and try to do this without killing each other. We're not going to get along. We're not going to support each other. If we argue, we argue. Like this is totally different, and we're not seeing it from both sides. So, I mean, unless it's just the editing that's just making her look terrible. But I don't like hate her. Like I feel bad. She's probably getting a bad edit, and you know, there has to be a team like this.
Somebody,
so
yeah.
In my opinion, it just seems that unless it's dance, she doesn't like it.
That's a good point.
You know, it's like she doesn't. There hasn't been one challenge. Like she's not. Clearly, she's not a very positive person. And unless it's dance, it's like, oh, I hate this, and that's just her attitude through it all.
But also, if you've been watching The Race for as million episodes as you can, you know that teams like that are the teams that get the most airtime. They're the teams that, like,
End up in
she
the
could
final
have
three.
went in this thinking, like, okay, let me play this up a little bit. And I'm sure the producers probably tried to pull it out of her a little bit too. Like, even when they were walking the cameras, she's, ugh, men, this and that, whatever. Like, I feel like she wouldn't really say that unless she was purposely playing it up, because now you have that team that's everybody wants to hate, but they want to watch, and they're going to create all this drama, and we have something going into the final 3 to entertain us and for us to hate.
Right.
Agreed. In the live chat, Mr. Aersonic says, Dana complaining about Matt not complaining gave me life. Christian Lunan said, Dana was so annoying this episode. And then Aaron Lune, he does make a point, which we will talk about later in the episode. You say that, but they both said that they loved each other, which is true. There's a nice little moment at the end where they own up to their faults this leg. But before we go on to the rest of this episode, I just want to give a few shout outs to our loyal viewers in the live chat. We have 33 people watching. And I would like to give a shout out to Soul Brother 69, Aaron Lune, Mr. Aersonic, Anna Gelbert, Christian Lunan, and then Laser Tagger 5, and then the other one I don't know how to pronounce it. I feel so bad for always butchering it, but it's Aria Dene Bene. There we go. Those are some shout outs for you.
Thank you, guys.
And don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to us on iTunes. And right now we have 6 thumbs up on our video, and there's 33 of you watching, so I hope to see 33 thumbs up by the end of the episode. Okay. Once teams completed the detour, they received route marker to travel to Atlantis the Palm Water Park, where they found the roadblock clue in the Aquaventure section of the park, which was really exciting because this was actually a switchback to a previous season of The Amazing Race. And now a switchback, for all you Amazing Race fans out there, you know that is a task that was originally shown on a previous season, and this happened to be from season 15 between Micah and Kanan, which we'll get to in just a second. But for this roadblock, one team member had to put on a diving helmet and walk through an aquarium containing sharks, manta rays, and other sea creatures to retrieve a canister containing a puzzle and place it into a waiting net. Once out of the aquarium, they had to solve the puzzle by turning the canister in a way that with the floating letters spelling out RACE, race. Slide into the matching slots of a clue envelope inside the canister. Once all 4 letters were in place, they received their next clue. What did you guys think of the roadblock?
The bikinis.
Oh my gosh. The bikinis.
The whole time I was thinking, I was like, I want to just wear one just to like experience it. It's gold. It's fun.
Yeah. It reminded me of Alison Power's like gold number.
Yeah, it was like, I was like, of course there has to be some ridiculous outfit going on here. But,
oh my god,
cool.
Bernie was just rocking it though. Yeah. He was so confident in that thing. I was like, yeah, buddy.
What are you gonna do? You have to just own it. You're gonna be all over TV in this tiny little gold bikini,
right? I loved it. I would have loved this entire challenge, except for the puzzle thing. That would have been frustrating.
Yeah, that looked terrible.
Yeah, I hate things like that.
Well, I was a little upset with Brody.
Me too.
To use the express pass for this was a joke. It was just not strategic at all. You know you're in the front of the pack. So if another team or 2 other teams show up, who cares?
Right.
You have more of a leg and more of an advantage from being there already and having tried this puzzle for a while. Whatever you're going through, more than likely the other teams that are going to be doing this are going to be going through the same difficulties, which we did see. So for them to just throw the express pass on something what seems so simple was so frustrating. And I think that's going to ultimately be their downfall. They're going to get stuck on one of these next few episodes at a detour or a roadblock, and they don't have the express pass to fall on, and that's going to be their downfall.
I just think that he got down the slide, he saw the puzzle, and he got so in his head that he wanted to finish it before anyone else got there. And if he didn't want anyone to see them use the express pass. So he was like, he just made the decision so fast. And he even said, like, oh good, no one will see us use the express pass.
I mean, that was the only smart part of the decision. It was obviously dumb to use it. But if you're going to use it, you don't want anyone else to know that you used it. So if they were going to, they needed to hurry up, do it, and get out of there so that everybody else thought, okay, they just finished it and they're on their way. But, like, it just, I mean, it wasn't that hard. And if it was that hard, it was going to be that hard for everybody else.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I probably would have freaked out too. Like, that just, I hate stuff like that. Like,
me too. You have to have so much patience.
Right. And like, I have no patience, so I would have thrown the thing like into the shark tank and left.
Funny. Mr. Sonic in the live chat said, Brody and Kurt totally wasted their express pass. They should have saved it for the next leg just in case there was a U-turn. which is why
you also don't know what's going to happen. Like, they could have been panicked. Like, everyone has this thing now the last couple seasons where you don't want to be the team that goes home with the express pass in your hand, because we've seen it happen. And this leg, like I said, was probably so much longer and so much more difficult than we imagined. They're like, we're going to have to go get back in that car, drive another hour to find someplace else, do whatever. Like, there's a lot that can still go wrong. And because a couple of those teams were right behind them, they probably just panicked and were like, we have to use it. So, like, I kind of get it, because it probably wasn't as easy as, like, you know, go down the slide and then, like, run 10 feet to fill. Like, no, you got back in your car and you drove again, looking for places, how to get on that water taxi thing.
Right.
I kind of get it.
Yeah.
I still, personally, I would have kept on to that thing until...
And then you guarantee first.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a really good topic of discussion. It's very debatable whether it was a good decision or not. I just really, now that they played it, I'm thinking something's going to happen where they're going to say, I wish we didn't use our express pass.
Of course. They're going home next
And they're
leg.
going to go home.
Yeah.
I don't see them in the top 3 after that. I was like, nope.
We already have our top 3 teams. It's like so obvious.
Once all the team members completed this roadblock, both team members had to slide down the new Poseidon's Revenge water slide. The other one, which is a flashback from season 15, where some teams, minus Micah and Kanan, who didn't do the water slide due to Micah's fear of heights and swimming, had to slide down to the resort's Leap of Faith water slide, which dropped them 6 stories down a nearly 90-degree incline and through a tunnel beneath the aquarium's Shark Lagoon. So this was a completely new and improved water slide.
Yeah.
But this was kind of like an ode to season 15.
Oh my gosh. This would have been amazing. I would have loved to do this. Can we just talk about Sherry's boobs?
Oh my God. Sherry's whole body. First of all,
Sherry's
I was not
rocking it.
expecting that.
I was like, wow.
Work, Sherry.
Damn, girl.
Yeah. Totally not expecting that.
Oh man, she just went up like 10 notches in my book. She could bike. She got the banging bod. The driving not so much, but we can work on the driving.
She is just a badass mom.
She is.
I mean, you
Cole
raised
is
5
one
kids.
lucky guy.
Yeah. Once that was pretty like anticlimactic because every team did it.
Right.
But it's so funny to see the comparison from season 15 when, you know, Micah's wearing floaties.
Yeah.
Right.
On a water slide. And you end up in like a little pool that's not even deep.
Yeah.
It's
So
just
funny.
So funny.
I mean, I wonder if it's like actually scary. Well, this is the thing. Like 2 weeks from now, I'm going to Atlantis, so I'll do the slide and let you guys know.
Will you get a waterproof
Get a
GoPro, film it, and then we can share it on our
Some of the people
after
who
show.
actually held the GoPro while they were going down, their faces were priceless. But I have to say, Rachel, I don't know how she got out of wearing that little skimpy gold bikini.
Wait, she didn't wear it?
Yeah, I don't think I noticed that.
She wore like a shirt, and I was like,
You know what though? Sometimes the thing is like you get measured beforehand, and then they have the costumes and whatever for you. So if because like you saw Dana complaining that her boobs were popping out, like if something was wrong and maybe it legitimately didn't fit, like they can't make you wear something that's ridiculous.
Right.
So she probably was like, it doesn't fit, and they were like, fine.
yeah. I was just curious. I was like,
Marie, I have to ask, what did you think of Cole?
Oh my God, so cute! Oh my God! First of all, he's like what, 20 or 19? I don't even know. But like when he was doing the puzzle and he was like shaking it and his delts were popping out and oh my God, his shoulders. I was like, what? Oh my God, so hot.
Sorry, I just had to ask. I just
that
had
is so
to ask.
good.
Once teams completed the water slide, they received a clue for the pit stop where they had to travel to Dera district of Dubai and take a marked boat across the harbor where they would find Phil at the old souk station. This is when we see the Dana meltdown. From the water slide to the harbor. She just whined pretty much the entire car ride.
She kind of gave up almost on the team.
She's like, I'm lost, so that means you're lost. Well, of course.
We're a team.
Like, what does that even mean?
I did understand what she was saying, though. Like, I have to be on her side a little bit here because she's reading the directions and she's like, bear left, and then when you get to whatever, make a left. And then, like, she said it like 10 times and he's driving and he's like, so left here? are you sure? Is this the way? She's like, no, I'm not sure. I'm reading it, and all I have is what I can read. So, like, what I tell you, like he wasn't getting that, like, she doesn't know any more than he knows. She's just reading the instructions. And, like, I was like, oh, my God, he's so Sweeney. Like, what are you not getting that, like, it says go left? That's all the information I have. Stop asking me more about it. So I understood that, but the whole meltdown afterwards was just, like, unwarranted. And
well, I'm surprised because, like, fans of The Amazing Race, I feel like I would, in that situation, would pull over and find a hotel, and utilize the resources that are around me rather than wasting time driving around. Like, bless Cole and Sherry's heart, but I would have asked at Aquaventure how to get from there to the harbor rather than just getting in the car and going.
Right.
I mean, maybe they did that, they just don't show it, but you have these, like, places that you're at with resources that could be of benefit to you, getting from one place to the other. Why not take advantage?
But they're so, like, far and few between. Like, I remember driving around Abu Dhabi everywhere being like, okay, we're just gonna, like, the next time we see someone, we're gonna ask. And, like, the highways, there's just nothing.
Long stretch.
And, like, there's no turn around and go to the other side. Like, so even if you decide we're gonna ask somebody, like, you could be driving for, like, 10 miles before something even pops up. So I'm not surprised that, like, the driving situation was so stressful for all of them.
Yeah.
It's one thing to have it be stressful, but when you call your teammate something's mentally wrong with you, you're psychotic, they pull over, Matt's like, we're a team, and Dana's like, as far as I'm concerned, no, we're not. As Arya, Danae, Benet said in the live chat, the meltdown was just too much. What do you ladies think?
I 100% agree. I would have, if I was Matt, I would have been like, listen, I can't take your shit anymore. Like, get your act together. Let's get back in the car. We're in this race. Let's go. Like, I don't know. I just feel like he needed to like put her back in her place. He kind of didn't do anything.
Well, yeah,
I think he's just
she wears
used,
the pants in the relationship.
and he's just used to it.
Yeah.
He just
but
takes
her
it.
being like, you know what,
sad.
we're like, we tried, we're done. Like, you know, like, what? You don't quit the race.
Yeah.
Well, we did see, like, a little lighthearted moment when they get to the pit stop, and Matt's all like, I know that Dana loves me, and I know a lot of this is stress. It's a heat of the moment, and then it's over. And then Dana's all like, yeah, there's really no excuse, no matter how stressed out you are, to behave like that. So, you know, it kind of goes back to last season with the paparazzi, Logan and Chris. Like, we thought it was funny how they treated each other back and forth. But in this case, it's pretty much the same, because Matt's not giving it back, but it's just more uncomfortable when it's one person giving it and not dishing it.
Yeah.
So I felt bad for Matt, but I do think that the relationship works for them, and there's a reason why they have been together for as long as they have. So Matt, I'm glad, had that moment where he was like, you know what? It's just the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
She's stressed out.
But you would think by now, because clearly he is used to it, you would think by now he has found a way to communicate to her to kind of either calm her down or, you know, get her kind of back in line in a nice way. But it seemed like he just kind of...
Yeah, but he just kind of ignores it. Exactly, which kind of is similar to me and Tim, because Tim even said that in, like, a bunch of our interviews. He was like, when she's on, like, a rampage, like, he's like, it just goes in one ear, out the other. He's like, I don't even bother. I wait until it's over. I know she doesn't mean it or whatever, and it's not going to help to try and calm her down. So, like, I get it. If their relationship is anything like ours, he's been dealing with this for 7 years, and, like, he knows that there's no use even, like, when trying, because when she gets like this, she's going to be like this. There's no fixing it. Just wait for it to pass, and then everything's fine, which is basically what happened.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like I'm someone, I definitely take my stress out on the people I love the most.
Right.
But the people who I do that to, they now have found ways to kind of either, you know, say something to me or to calm me down, so that when I am being mad at them for no apparent reason, I kind of realize, like, okay, wait, I should not be taking it out on you. I'm sorry. I'm just stressed. So I feel like by now he would have found a way to do that.
And also, there's a chance that it's not for no apparent reason. Like, we don't know what editing, like, just could have created this thing for her for this episode. Like, who knows? He wasn't terrible for the whole, you know, traveling there and the whole beginning of the episode. And there's things that we didn't see. Like, you know, everyone was like, why are you so mean to Tim? Like, if you guys saw what you didn't see, you would know why it was so mean. So maybe there's a little bit of that going on.
Oh, 100%.
And that's why he's not even like giving it back to her, because maybe he knows that he did something and that he kind of deserves this. Whether that's the way you talk to somebody you care about or not, there could be another side to this that we're not seeing.
Very true.
And I think now that we've seen the stress level really get to Dana, I have 100% counted them out as potential winners of this race. Like, you can't behave like that and act like that and win. That's just how I think.
Second place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At best, if that. So the team's order this episode was Brody and Kurt, Bernie and Ashley, Tyler and Corey, Zach and Rachel, Dana and Matt, and last but not least, Sherry and Cole, which ultimately turned out to be a non-elimination leg.
Of course. Gosh. They were not going home.
No.
They couldn't.
No, final three.
I'm convinced they're in the top 3.
Oh my gosh. Well, what were you guys thinking? Like, when they got to the mat last, did you guys think they were going to be saved for the second time this season?
Yeah, they're the bunnies.
Yeah. They're the...
But if it was someone else, that team, would have gone home?
I would like to think yes.
But it doesn't even matter. Like, this was a 4 TV leg. It was like so entertaining and over the top.
It was one of my favorite episodes of the season.
But it was.
I knew watching it that like probably no one was going home.
No.
And like even if no matter what happens, like the last part of it is like again like the water taxis. There's that last minute way to control who gets to the mat at what time and what. So I think whether it was this leg or the next leg, like if it had been someone else, like say it was Zach and what's her name, the
Rachel.
fact that I don't even know her name, if it was them, they would have went home. And I think anybody like it was them, Sherry and Cole, the dancers, and Tyler and Corey. Had any of them came in last, non-elimination. Any of the other teams, they would have been gone.
Right.
But it also makes sense because I feel like on previous seasons, there's usually like a non-elimination at this point in the race because now moving forward, there are no more second chances.
Right.
There are no more non-eliminations because there's 6 teams left. 3 have to go home, so 3 make it to the end. And at this point, we're like mid-April.
Yeah.
There's probably
I
only
hope
4
that
episodes
Sherry
left
and Cole
anyway.
stay. I mean, I really do see them in the final 3, but if this is going to be anything like every other season, they're going to go home on the next leg because, like, how many tries can you give someone? Now they're already in last. They have a speed bump.
Right.
Everybody else is better than them. Like, they've been saved twice. So, yeah, they're cute, and I want them to win, but at this point, like, it's not even fair. Go home.
Yeah. I know. You have to keep the game
And
fair.
call me.
Call me. Call her.
Go home and call me. So that wraps up our episode recap. Let's talk about our fantasy teams. I do finally have an updated graphic for us to discuss today, ladies. And of course, I put the point totals in today because Allie, Tennessee and Hale on Twitter has been doing a wonderful job
Thanks,
at
Allie.
being our
Thank you.
AfterBuzz TV, I guess, little correspondent, just making sure all the scores are lined up for us when we recap our fantasy teams. So Marie, what do you think of your team?
Okay, not bad. I'm surprised. I'm usually like the first to lose everyone. So, yeah.
Who stands out on your team?
I mean,
Which is the obvious answer.
Sherry and Cole, obviously.
And Zach and Rachel. You
Yeah,
just
Zach
kinda
and
like,
Rachel are going. They're not final 3. They're going soon.
I think Zach and Rachel might go home next. But anyways, for my team, I only have one team left, Matt and Dana. Oh God, come on guys, stick together. Stick together.
No, you're good. They'll be here for a while.
Yeah, so I actually think that they're gonna be in top 3 for sure.
And then for my team, I definitely think the only team that's going to be in the top 3 will be Tyler and Corey. Although I would love to see more than one of my teams in the top 3.
No.
Of course, but I don't see that happening.
How do I have the least points when you lost more people?
Yeah,
Your teams don't place high.
I should get extra points for drama. And for
We need a new point system. How about like hot shirtless points? Like
and
Then that would be
drama.
like
boob
at
points.
least 20 points.
Yeah, boo.
yeah, they
scored.
get the body points for this episode.
So
Slay.
funny. Predictions then, who do you think will go home next week?
I think Rachel and Zach.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn. Zach and Rachel probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe Brody and Kurt, just because of like the whole Express Pass thing, and you know they're not going to be in the final 3 anyway. So like maybe get rid of them soon. I don't know. But then also maybe Sherry and Cole, because like you can't have a million lives on The Amazing Race.
Yeah.
I really have no idea. But definitely those are the next 3 to go in any order.
Yeah, if I could pick my favorite top 3, we've already discussed this: Tyler and Corey, Matt and Dana, Sherry and Cole.
I agree.
Yeah, that's the final.
Oh, and then that would be one for the three
One
of
for
us.
each of us. Ooh.
That would be fun. We could rally.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna win.
Oh my God. I definitely think that Zach and Rachel will go home. Just because they touched on it a little bit this episode when she's like, this was my biggest fear come true. I let our team down and we're going to probably go home. And I know that for the preview of next week, it shows Rachel struggling at a roadblock.
Mm-hmm.
And why have that soundbite this week of her being like, my fear is letting our team down and we go home if they are not going to go home because she might let them down. I'm not saying she's a letdown, but she might think herself like, I let Zach down and that's why they're going to go home. So I think Zach
Bernie
and Rachel.
Ashley, maybe.
No, they're just, I don't feel like they've had a full arc quite yet. Like
I don't feel like they've had anything yet.
If anything, they'll be the team that goes home right before the final.
Well, then something has to happen with them. They have to give us something. Like, there's nothing there.
I know.
They're just fans and
Zach
gamers.
and Rachel and Ashley, and they haven't even like talked about their gaming thing like once.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know Matt and Dana are dancers. We know they're frisbee players. We know they're like YouTubers, but like we haven't really heard much about their gaming at all.
Yeah, that makes me think they're going home.
We'll see. All right. So that
Let us know what you guys
up.
think in the comments.
A lot of people are saying maybe Brody and Kurt just because of the Express Pass, like Marie said. I don't want them to, but it feels like Sherry and Cole's time might be coming up. Charlie Rose 214 says Zach and Rachel, Sherry and Cole are like cats that keep surviving. Sansa Scylla Hedgehog said, I think Zach and Rachel.
Ooh, someone said Bernie and Ashley are going to win.
No.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't get a winner's edit from them
No,
at
not
all.
at all.
No.
That's why I'm convinced Sherry and Cole. Who wouldn't want to
Oh my
see
God,
the mother of five to win with her son?
Okay.
Who wouldn't? I'm just saying.
No, I would
from a marketable
100%.
standpoint.
But then it would be so rigged because they were saved twice. If
Yeah.
they win, they can't win.
It's the underdog
It is
story.
rigged.
It's the
I know
underdog
it's rigged,
story.
but then it'd be like really rigged if they won.
Well, we'll find out next week on our after show here at AfterBuzz TV. Same time, same place. Marie, where can they find you on
You guys
social
can
media?
find me at Reebsicle on all social medias.
And you guys can find me at Jess Carroll TV.
And you can find me on Twitter at James Wallington and on Instagram at Where's Wallington. And thank you again so much for tuning in. We look forward to recapping this after show with you guys every single week. And we'll see you guys next Monday, same time, same place, right here on AfterBuzz TV.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.